With the launch of Fortnite Chapter 5, the world was blessed with 4, with asterisks, brand new Fortnite-themed game modes: LEGO Fortnite, Fortnite Festival, the Fortnite Festival Jump Stage, and Rocket Racing. Now that they've been out for a while, I think it'd be a great idea to try to rank them and see how they compare to other permanent Fortnite game modes that we've seen across the game's lifespan. So, in this video, I'll be going over all the game modes that were permanent, or, well, at least at one point or another, and trying to see which one is the best one. Warning! This video isn't objective in any way, shape, or form. This is literally just my own opinion. This is literally just what I like and what I don't like about all of them, and why I prefer some of them to each other. So, let's get started with some honorable mentions. Unreal Editor for Fortnite and Creative. They're more so tools rather than game modes. I mean, UEFN is quite literally just a tool that allow you to create your very own Fortnite experiences, with Creative allowing you to mess around with a bunch of prefabs and rudimentary devices, while UEFN is basically just a small slice of the Unreal Engine. I do not know how to rank them, considering I don't know how to use them, and the things that come out of them vary in quality quite a lot. Some maps are made with passion by teams dedicated to making the best experience they can, and most of the other ones are shit quickly thrown together to get attention from the algorithm so they can make money, and they're kinda everywhere, and they kinda fucking suck. But the Creative and UEFN themselves are alright, I guess. But since I don't use them in any way, shape or form, I'm not gonna rank them anywhere. So they just get a little shout out here. Party Royale is a game mode that exists. Jokes aside, it's a roleplay map that was made with the intention of being a hub for all things Fortnite, from news, concerts, and movie showings. However, as time went on, the game mode was basically abandoned by Epic, with the only people left playing it being people who care way too much about rare cosmetics, and complete degenerates. Nowadays, Party Royale is kinda empty, however it still has some players. So you can probably expect to find some people trying to make one of those shitty roleplay video thumbnails. The biggest problem of the mode is that, well, as a party hub, it's just kinda empty. Like, sure, there are some activities like fishing and soccer and running around a quad crusher, but there's just no reason to play it, so most people just don't, with the people who still do being mostly degenerates. I feel like this mode had potential, but it just didn't get any meaningful updates during its entire existence, basically leaving it to rot, hence why it's the lowest on the ranking. There was no reason to play it, I don't like it, and its player base sucks. The Fortnite Festival Jump Stage is basically another empty roleplay map, but this time it focuses around your ability to use specific instruments to play specific sections of your equipped jump tracks. Yeah, it's kinda empty, and you can do practically everything there in other game modes, but from what I know at least, the player base is much nicer than Party Royale's, so that's why it ranks higher. Legends Landing is your one-stop shop for all things competitive, and by that I mean literally only FNCS. It's a little hub like Party Royale and the Festival Jump Stage, where you can hang around with your fellow competitive enjoyers, play some box fights, and watch the Fortnite Championship series. By watching it here instead of on streaming, you can get a bunch of different free cosmetics. It's so low down since it's just another hangout map, but it beats out the other two, because there's actually a reason to play this mode unlike Party Royale and the Festival Jump Stage. This might be a little controversial, and believe me, it hurts to put this so low on the list. Save the World is a 4-player mission-based co-op PvE class-based looter-shooter tower defense live service game. It follows you, the commander, commanding a bunch of heroes to fight against a mysterious powerful storm that took over the world with its zombie-like husked and mist monsters, with the intention of saving the world. On paper, this sounds really good, however, in practice there is a big problem with this game. It's repetitive as hell. It's really fun at first, but then the realization that this game was made with the intention of being free to play hits you like a truck. All the missions needed for progression consist of grinding the same things over and over and over and over and over again. It gets really tiring when you have to run around the same type of zone to collect random quest items, especially since they tend to spawn in a way where you need to go for a zone 2 or 3 times to even complete the quest. If you have the right heroes, the husks go from being a genuine problem to a mild annoyance you can kill by simply looking at them. The only part I can really say I like is the writing. It's genuinely funny and touching at times. However, even that has a problem. It's unfinished and will likely never be finished. The game is split into 4 zones: Stonewood, Plant Curtain, Caddy Valley, and Twine Peaks. An adventure zone and an event zone, but they're not related to the story. The first 3 all have their own stories and introduce a new biome type. You'd naturally assume that Twine would continue that trend and serve as a finale to the game's story, with its own hard biome that really tests your knowledge of the game, especially since its Storm Shield is set on a volcanic landmass. And the Canyon Valley story ended on a massive cliffhanger, with one of the characters sacrificing themselves and another being put out of commission. But no! The game was updated to have a mission that gives you a little music video, and that's when the story ends. Complete experience! I really want to love Save the World, but it has so much lost potential that I can barely even bring myself to play it, despite me being an early adopter and still having the ability to get V-Bucks from dailies. Impostors was basically just Among Us in Fortnite. Like, literally, this is shameless. But Among Us is fun, so the mode was also fun. It was themed around the Imagined Order, an organization from the lore. Your job was to go around the base completing different tasks, while 2 impostors tried picking off people one by one. The mode doesn't exist anymore as they didn't want to keep updating it to work with future versions of the Unreal Engine, so yeah. The Among Us influence was so obvious that it caused the developers of Among Us, Innerslove, to speak out about the mode, which eventually led to them and Epic Games coming to an agreement, which led to us getting the distraction dance from the Heron Re-Stickman games as an emote, and the crewmates from Among Us as a backbling. Ranked is Epic's second attempt at giving Fortnite an accessible competitive mode. And to be honest, it's kinda a downgrade to Arena in my opinion. Like, it's just pubs, but with a ranking system. This isn't even a good way to prepare for competitive tournaments, since all the wacky items like the wacky collab mythics are usually disabled in real money tournaments. It just kinda feels like a downgrade to its previous incarnation. I'm not saying Arena didn't have any problems, but if you make a whole new ranked mode to try and make it so that getting to the top is actually challenging, maybe a man who just does his full-time job while sitting in bushes the whole game shouldn't be able to reach the big leagues. No hate to Bushcamp Dad, he seems chill, but it really just speaks a lot about the ranked system. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Team Rumble is Fortnite's dedicated deathmatch mode, where 2 huge teams of people fight in a small storm circle, with respawns and glider redeploy. It's a shell of its former self. It used to give you time to properly load up and explore the map before going into the final circles to go all out on the enemies. However, people used that period you were given to load up to grind out some weekly challenges, which, for one reason or another, Epic didn't like. So, over the course of the mode's existence, they made it harder to complete challenges by making it harder to explore the map with the storm coming in faster, and disabling certain NPCs and such. Nowadays the mode is kinda just there. You don't even get an umbrella for winning in it. It's still a nice way to practice the mechanics if you don't want to sweat your balls off in some creative lobby. And it still allows you to get challenges like dealing damage with a certain weapon type done. But you wouldn't catch me playing it over any of the other modes besides the ones I've mentioned below this. Rocket Racing is a racing game based on the popular esports game Rocket League. And by based on, I mean it has basically nothing to do with Rocket League other than sharing cars with it and being made by the same people. Every single track has a giant orange death barrier around it, in order to prevent people from just flying over them using the game's flying mechanics. It's ultimately just an alright racer, but I feel like it could have easily been more. Like, remember Burnout? The racing game series where you needed to cause destruction in order to get nitro so you could boost and win the race? What if Rocket Racing was that, but with flying and sticking to walls? The review of Rocket Racing showed a car crashing into another car and causing it to explode, and destroying other people's cars is a mechanic in Rocket League, so that would have made for a more interesting and involved gameplay experience. A huge problem I have with the mode is its map selection, especially in the ranked mode. A lot of the maps just kinda feel the same, especially in the early ranks of the ranked mode when you only have access to like 5 desert maps. Another issue I have with the mode is that the prices are just straight up extortion. I'm not selling my soul to the devil for the Fortnite Lamborghini. No. Despite the problems I have, I think that the mode has a lot of potential, and I'm happy to see where it goes in the future. Arena was Epic's first attempt at an accessible competitive mode. It operated under the Siphon rule set, meaning that your mats were capped at 500 and you gained 50 health or shield on elimination, as well as causing eliminated players to drop materials on death. The mode had its own ranking system, with matchmaking being tied to the leagues. Getting into higher leagues would allow you to participate in more prestigious tournaments. Additionally, this mode had its own loot pool, more dangerous storm circles, and the bars didn't carry over between games. There was also a zero build mode for a short while, however it didn't last long. The fact that it had largely the same loot pool as actual tournaments made it better for practice than ranked, and Siphon is the way the game should be in my opinion, so that's why it's higher on the list. LEGO Fortnite is a game I never knew I wanted, and after playing it, I know why I never knew I wanted it. It's a survival sandbox game that feels like a bit of a mixture between Terraria and Don't Starve together. In 3D! The survival element is laughably easy, to be honest. The greater focus of the mod is on the adventuring and building, and this focus highlights the fact that the game is hella grindy. Building is fun, but to get basically anything done, you need a lot of materials, and the tools you need for said materials don't last long. However, the sheer charm of it all somewhat helps mask the repetitiveness. Like, emoting in your village causes your villagers to drop whatever they're doing and join you in emoting. Or the way gay people can randomly spawn and shower you with food if you go near them. Like, that's just cute. I'd play this more if it wasn't just a really watered down version of Don't Starve, but as it is, I might occasionally hop on to build a couple of things. Late game Marina was Epic basically saying, look, we can't prevent people from mindlessly rushing others, leading to no one being alive for the endgame. Best thing we can do is to spawn them in the late game. And it was genius. Originally the mode was created for Buga's Item Skin tournament, but it was set to become permanent. However, due to an overabundance of problems, Epic just kinda gave up. There are some decent recreations of it in the Discovery tab, but they likely won't have many players. Honestly, it's a huge shame that it's no longer here, since it served as a good way to practice packed late games while still being fun. Fortnite Festival is a rhythm game created by Harmonix, the creators of the Rock Band series, and well, it's basically just Rock Band in Fortnite. You have 4 sets of instruments which all have unique charts for every song, as well as 4 difficulties: easy, normal, hard, and expert. The first 3 use 4 keys, while expert uses 5. A bunch of songs are playable for free each day, but you can also cough up 500 V-Bucks to buy a given song in the item shop and get to play it anytime you want. I love this game mode despite being atrocious at it. However, it's not number 1 because of one simple thing. I apologize to the Lambo for calling it price extortion. Why am I supposed to pay as much as I would for a majority of epic skins for a fucking microphone that only gets used in a single game mode and an emote option? The prices of the instruments are kinda absurd. Before the most recent update, the TMNT instruments didn't have a bundle and were only sold separately, meaning that if you wanted to have them all, you'd have to fork over 6,000 V-Bucks. You could buy a Fortnite Lamborghini for that price and be 70% of the way there to buying another one. What adds insult to injury is that you could buy the bundle featuring the turtles and a bundle having April O'Neil and a bunch of accessories together, and it would still be cheaper than buying all the instruments. Thankfully, they now have a proper bundle that gives you all 4 instruments for 3,000 V-Bucks, which is still 85% of a Fortnite Lambo, but I digress. Also, the Festival Pass is the price of a battle bundle, but it barely has anything in it. It would still probably be cheaper than buying the items one by one, but the same could be said about the mid-season event passes, and those just cost 1,000 V-Bucks. Aside from the questionable prices, I really like the mode, and I'm eagerly excited to see what Harmonix cooks up in the future. The one mode that started it all. Besides the mode that actually started it all, but I've already said my piece about that one. Battle Royale, and Zero Build, since they're basically the same thing, is the thing most people immediately think of when they hear the name Fortnite. And for a good reason. It somehow managed to stay relevant for almost 7 years, with its consistent content updates, mysterious and often explosive story events and concerts, and fairly regular big relaunches of the game. It strikes the perfect balance between simple and complex, with the guns having more bloom than recoil, making them easier to use for inexperienced players, and the building and movement components allowing you to pull off some truly insane things. Even through some of the worst seasons this game has had, I often find myself hopping on for a game or two. It's just really good. Hell, it kept me actively invested in it for over 6 years, and I truly appreciate it. With that being said, this concludes my ranking of every permanent Fortnite mode. I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. If you think I was too harsh on some mode, or have a ranking of your own, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. Have a nice day. See ya!
Holy crap, I'm in Fortnite! Oh my gosh, this is so freaking epic! Holy crap, Donald Trump!
Hello, Peter. Welcome to Fortnite.